What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Big Ox Uchiha. And before I get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. In fact, don't even hit that like button until you hear what I gotta say, because I don't want to sway your thoughts or your opinions. I want you to really kind of think about this one today, because if you're seeing on your screen right now, you should be seeing a scripture from Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 8. And it says, "Do not correct a fool, or he will hate you. Correct a wise man, and he will appreciate you." And the reason why I love the scripture so much is because it kind of like goes into the topic we're talking about today. Now, if you're looking at your screen right now, you're seeing three people. You're seeing Kanye West, you're seeing Dr. Bill Cosby, and you're seeing Candace Owens. Three names you thought you would never hear in the same sentence, ever spoken in the same sentence. Now, first off, let me start with Mr. Cosby. I don't know what he did or if he's truly guilty, but I can say this. Here are three people who will see a trend and they're trying to correct the behavior, and everyone around them is telling you not that they're the wrong ones. That Candace is wrong, that Kanye is wrong, that, Dr. Bill Cosby is wrong. All these people who are saying, hey, you know what? Something has to change in us. We have to change our way of doing things. Is there systemic racism? Absolutely. Is there, you know, is there colorism in America? Absolutely. Are there issues dealing with, you know, people being racially profiled, not only when by the police officers, but even by people who are there walking into a job into a place to get a job? Yes, there is racial profiling even at jobs. Absolutely. There are people who obviously did not get their job for the fact that they were black. And believe it or not, there are some jobs that you hear about some brothers got because they were black. They're the token blackie. We all know the name. We all hear it before. This is not new. You know, we always know about the so-called token brother. It's not something that is brand new to the ears. But there's something that has been in the black community for a very long time. Now, I am not a Republican. Let me start there. I have some conservative views. Don't get it twisted. I'm a Christian, so obviously there's some views that I have that are conservative. I'm an Orthodox Christian. I'm a Reformed Christian, so that I believe in the Reformed doctrine. I believe in the Bible. I believe the Bible is the authoritative Word of God that has no errors in it. That is without flaw. I believe it is the infallible Word of God that's built for reproof, for structure, and for correction. And I believe everything that it says in there to a T. If it says it did it, then it did it. I wasn't there, so I can't prove it didn't, and neither can you. And even if you told me that it didn't happen, you can't prove to me that it didn't happen, and I can't prove to you that it did. So I have to go off of faith, and you have to go off of faith that I'm wrong too. So that's the way that I see it. You may not feel that way, but you have the right to think what you believe. That's the thing. You have the right to think what you believe. And we can still talk to one another. And we can still be cool with one another. We can still trust one another. We can still hang out at the barbecue together. We can still go out to get some good food. We can still go out and hang and talk about the sports games. That's the beautiful thing about America, is that you can believe whatever it is you want to believe without somebody telling you that you must believe only my way. One thing I've noticed though about Democrats, the Democratic blacks, is that we tend to hear brothers say and sisters say stuff like, if you don't vote if you voted for Donald Trump, then you're a coon or you're a sellout or you're selling out the community. Then you hear, okay, if you vote, everybody just has to vote Democrat or don't vote at all. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you get a chance to choose which way you really want to vote. You don't get a chance to choose what it is that you truly believe. Well, here are three people who are being crucified in the media. Three black people who are legitimately being crucified, not only by the media, but our people as well. See, people crucified Dr. Bill Cosby for having the strength to stand up and say, you know what, young men, pull your pants up. Young men, come out the streets. There ain't nothing there for you. To try to do the best that you can to come out of that lifestyle. Yeah, it's hard, but pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and be the best you can be every day. If you go back to the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and you look at what Bill Cosby did back in the 60s and the 70s, and those beautiful documentaries about how beautiful it was to be black. But he also talked about how you had to change up your ways. Like, he talked about how the pressure was on us back there, and how the view of the black image was so tainted. But here you go, you get Dr. Cliff Hustable, and he shows us a new way to look at black people. That there was beauty in black, and there was so much culture in being African American. And not only culture in being African American, but he showed us the HBCUs that everybody wanted to go to. Everybody wanted to be on a different world. With Jada Pickett and with the Jasmine guy and the dude that played Dwayne Wayne. I don't know his real name, but I'm sorry, it is what it is. There's so many people that came and gone off of this, Sinbad, etc., etc. And he put people on. He got a lot of young people involved and really helped make so many African Americans careers and open up so many doors for African American people that to this day we are still eating on the things that Bill Cosby has done. But when it came down to it, when Bill Cosby had some legal issues, all of a sudden, not only was it a brother that took him down, but look at the fact that the black community turned their back on him. D.L. Hughley, so many others who just said, he's just automatically guilty, didn't give him any chance to be anything right. And it was our people that took him down. It wasn't the white community that took him down. It was our community. And a lot of times they kept saying these words. A lot of people kept saying, well, he looked down his nose at us. He looked down his nose at us. No, he just said what anybody that has the platform should say. Like, if you done what Dr. Bill Cosby has done and you've been on the platforms that he's been on, yeah, he's going to say pull up your pants. He's going to tell you to clean up your act. He's supposed to. He's an elder. Elders are supposed to tell you to go in a better way. But just like it says though, in our nice little scripture here, you can't correct the fool. Don't do it or he'll hate you. And what do you know? People like D.L. Hughley completely hated Bill Cosby. You know, and D.L. Hughley's a smart guy. Don't get it twisted. But the things that he's doing, the stuff he says sometimes is very foolish. He doesn't always say the right thing. He doesn't always, and don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for perfection out of it, man, because you will never find it in the person. But we gotta admit, D.L. Hughley has said some really effed up stuff over the years, and some of his comedy skits from back in the day, if you listen to them back then and you listen to them now, there are two different type of conversations. Yes, he doesn't tell the young man to pull his pants up, but he does tell him to come out the streets too. Why? Because D.L. Hughley is now elder, and he has to hold up those same charges. Yo, man, you gotta come out the street, be a better you. Don't be a statistic. Be better than a statistic. Change the narrative in our community. Clean things up. Fix yourself. Turn away from your wickedness. Yeah. If you don't, even if you don't believe in Jesus or God or any type of spiritual thing, which is a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. Come away from these things that is killing the community, that's destroying the community. I mean, really destroying the community. That's making us look terrible. You know, it's a worldwide phenomenon too, because everywhere you go, if you look on their TV, when they turn their TV, the 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 most culture they see, the world puts out there, they ain't putting out amen. I can tell you that. They ain't putting out, a different world that much. Okay, they're putting out empire. They're putting out, you know, uh, uh, like let's see, what's another one? The Game and stuff like that. Not all of those shows are bad, but you know, there's shows that they putting out there. That's all we are. We're violent. We kill each other. When they get on the news, all they see is Black Lives Matter shooting up something or knocking over something, and they see that. That's the image that the world sees. Violent. Saffron and Son. They still running that. Good Times. They still running that, and that's the image of the black man. They don't give us the image of honorable, and that's because we don't hold ourselves honorable. You ain't seeing Moesha being put on every TV screen all over the world. Okay, and if it is, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm here to tell you, you ain't seeing Moesha like you seeing that. You dang sure ain't seeing a Cosby show like you see that. You see what I'm saying? Because they want you to be a part of that narrative, that idea that there is nothing good about you, the African American. There's nothing good about it. But and then on top of that, our government hopes that you young men and young women do not like correction. They're hoping that you stay foolish. They are hoping that you stay foolish. They hope that you don't go out and start thinking for yourself. They're hoping that you will keep your mouth shut and that you will just toe the line and you never ask questions and you vote Democrat because your mama was a Democrat and you vote Democrat because you're black and you vote Democrat because of how you feel based better than what you know. Okay? They're hoping that things are bad for you. Okay? And this is not me telling you to vote Republican. Not at all. This is not me telling you love Donald Trump. Not at all, because if you ever ask me the question, I'm not a Donald Trump fan either. Okay? But at the same time, Kanye West expressed that he just liked Candace Owens' views. He didn't say, "Hey, and he says he likes Donald Trump, that he take it to the next level." But that's okay. He has the right to do so. He thought about it. He saw the things that Donald Trump said, and he came to a logical conclusion based upon the facts that he believed represents him. And you know what? That does not make Kanye a bad guy. Same thing for Candace Owens. Candace Owens is not saying is not saying in the least bit that she is, everybody's homegirl. She's not. She never stated that she wanted to be. This girl was considered a liberal. She even said she was a liberal for her whole life. She said she voted for Barack Obama like 90% of us did. But when it came down to it, when she really started to do some digging and looked into things for herself, she realized, and I don't mean to speak for Candace Owens, but she realized that this was the most like greatest idea that came to her mind, was that these were the things that lined up with her views, with her ideas, with her worldview. Okay? Everyone has a worldview and they got people who line up to that. But if you have never done any research and if you have never done any type of like soul searching and seeking and looking at things and asking questions and making mistakes and getting messy, as Miss Frizzle used to say when I was a kid, when you don't have that in you to think for yourself and be free, you will never know the truth because you're always leaning to someone else to tell you the truth. In fact, don't even listen to this podcast right now as a means for me to tell you how to think. Look at this as because that is exactly what I don't want to do. I don't want to tell you how to think. I want you to say that I'm wrong. I want you to think I'm wrong. But I also want you to go and do the research and ask yourself what it is that you truly believe in yourself and in your heart. And if it leads you down the path of the Democrats, awesome. If it leads you down the path of the Republicans, awesome. But personally, I don't even believe in the parties. I don't even understand why anyone subscribes to one because they all lie. They all wrong. They all in cahoots together. These people are elites. They all make money and they're all about their money. And they all hang out with each other off the record. If I remember correctly, Hillary Clinton's daughter and Donald Trump's daughter used to be really good friends, had sleepovers, hung out together. They used to talk about it all the time on TV. If I remember correctly, Trump supported Hillary Clinton in 2007, I believe it was, 6 or 7. Hmm, how about that? If you go back and look at some of Hillary Clinton's old stuff, you will come to find that a lot of it, Trump was right behind him. Trump one time said that he would run as a Republican because he knew it would be the easiest platform to run on because as long as you stick to the narrative, Republicans will vote for you. So there is always somebody. These people are elitists. They make money off of being elite. They're running the country with the money. I didn't think Trump was hired to be everybody's best friend. He wasn't there to be, he's there to do whatever it is that needed to be done. Either one with the books or B with the it's the money. It's the money. And even if he sucks at finances, that's the choice that everyone made. And it may not have been the liberals, it may not have been who you liked, but it is who it is. And to me, one of the worst things that we can do is keep dividing ourselves even more. We already divide ourselves with all the other social issues that there is. The black community is divided sometimes in our own neighborhoods. We can live in the same neighborhood, on the same street, and be divided because this side of the street is one name and this side of the street is the other. We're already divided ourselves because of religion too. I mean, being honest, I'm a preacher, but still, we are divided because of religion. The Christians don't sometimes want to talk to Muslims. We're dividing ourselves by sexuality. We're dividing ourselves by all these other things, and there's no unity. So now, politically, we're going to divide ourselves too. Do you know how worse it is to divide ourselves politically? Now, let's be honest. Let's be real with ourselves. Barack Obama didn't do that much for the black community in those 8 years that he was in term. Okay, was I proud of Barack Obama? Absolutely. I was glad to see a black man as president. Absolutely. I will never say either way. It warmed my heart, but when I watched him as a president, and I sat there and said, okay, here's all these men, all these black guys getting shot in the worst way, these worst and worst police brutalities, and we're seeing them happen all over the country, including with Tamir Rice, including with Trayvon Martin and Eric Gardner, and so many who were killed, and the one chick that was killed in prison, and the one that was killed at her house. It was just so many back to back to back to back that it made me ask the question, dude, where is the president on this? Why isn't he, stepping in? And he's an African American man. Why isn't he stepping in and helping with reforming this? Because he can push the narrative. He pushed the narrative for the Hebrews and the Jews. Excuse me. He pushed the narrative for the homosexual community. Okay, whether you believe in it or not, that's what he did. He pushed the narrative for them. But when it came down to justice reform for African Americans, what was the best thing that he could do for us? Free a couple of black men in prison. That's the best that he could do. He threw us some crumbs and then walked out the White House. After I saw that, I changed my mind politically. I was never going to just vote Democrat just to vote Democrat. Someone is going to earn this vote. You're going to tell me why you deserve the black vote. I'm not going to just vote Republican. You need to tell me and show me why you deserve the black vote. I'm going to think for myself. I'm going to see things through because I want to know the truth. Excuse me. Bible says you will know the truth and the truth will make you free. That's what Jesus said. And I believe Jesus. And if I'm free from the truth, then that means that I cannot despise correction. I cannot despise the correction of people. I gotta hear what people have to say. See, in this generation that we sit right now, we're already told by everybody that no one can judge you but God. No one can tell you that you're wrong. Do you know how terrible that is? So that means when a man cheat on you, then he don't even need to even listen to you whine and complain about it because let's face it, you done already said that no one can judge you but God. That means a woman can just throw her baby in a trash can is okay because who cares because is who can judge her but God, right? No one can judge you but God. No one can say when something's right or wrong. No one can say when things are true and things are bad or things are terrible. Oh, then but you just have to wait until so-called karma comes around to see some type of quote unquote justice. Because you can't depend on people to know right and wrong. Why? Because it's morally subjective. And if you put it in that context, then yeah, you're right. Absolutely, you cannot trust anybody to make a righteous decision, to have righteous indignation. I can't say that word right, but you know what I mean. You can't trust people to have a moral compass. I really messed that word up, didn't I? Anyway, but you can't fault a person for making good decisions. You can't fault a person for making decisions that's best for their life and voting for them. And I would say to you, over the years, the Democrats have not been our friend. Over the past, I, I would say, since Clinton, what's that? That's 3 terms. Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. I was too young to remember Reagan. I was too young to remember the guy before him. But I remember the years of Clinton. I remember the years of Bush. I remember how terrible the years were with Bush. I remember how with Bush too, it was just as bad, if not worse, because the economy got 10 times worse with his son. Things got terribly worse with his son. I remember how terrible things were with Clinton, and we all praised Clinton because we thought, okay, this is justice reform. This is justice reform, and we didn't realize that we gave the police the okay to just do whatever they wanted. And just when things were getting to a place where accountability was slowly starting to creep in, 9/11 happened, and they started pushing this narrative. I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but they were pushing the narrative real tough that police officers and firemen were heroes. And they were so good and they were so awesome. And they pushed this narrative that the police officers were so respectful and so in awe. You were sitting in awe, and they built these big statues and monuments. And when you saw police officers, you would say thank you to the police officer because of his service. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if things go bad, I call the cops. I mean, I ain't stupid now, and so is a lot of you that's sitting here listening to this podcast. You have called the cops yourself one time or another when you had an issue that could not be resolved. You called the police. Now, if you ain't never had to do that and you got that type of protection, then kudos to you, I guess. I don't know, but for the rest, for the mass, number of us, we more than likely have called the police one time or another. But police were considered to be this awe-inspiring, this all-knowing, like pie in the sky belief about the police departments, and they took away the humanity from from the police, honestly, where they had a sense of humanity when they were starting to kind of guide themselves back into the community. They got put on this pedestal, in this heroic Goku type role, Superman type role, that you could not say no to the police officers, that you just listened to the police officers, and that was it. you know. And don't get me wrong. Is there a time and a place for everything? Absolutely. Should you resist the police? Absolutely not. Do whatever you have to do to survive. I would tell my sons that. I would tell both of my sons that. That if you are in a situation where it is your life or that police officer's life, do what he says. Do everything in your ability to comply. Do not get into an argument. Do not debate. Debate after it's all said and done. And if they do what they do, then let it be filmed on camera. Let the records reflect, and we can fix it later. Because I would rather have you here than rather than put you in a box and put you in the ground. That's just the reality of the situation, and I don't care what anyone says. How you may like it or you don't like it, you have to have that conversation with your child. You can hope and pray that the police never have to stop you, that the police never have to come up to you, that the police never have to warn you. You gotta hope and pray that. I'm gonna be honest. I've been in this world for 35 years, and I have never had a negative situation with the police officer. A lot of my reactions, with my experiences with police officers have been minimal at best, because I try to do things to make my life and fix my life so that it does not have to ever be a reason why the police stop me. I even moved to places where there's less conversations about where am I going, but have I had those conversations? Absolutely. I've been stopped on by the police on the sidewalk, honestly. While I was going some from to and fro, and the police also asked me, "Where are you going with those bags?" As if I'm the one who stole them. But does that mean that I'm going to sit there and get into an argument? Nope. I say, "Your officer, I have these bags for this reason," and I go about my business and I keep walking. And if they stop me further or they ask me for my ID, that's different. But I'm not going to sit there and wait for them to tell me I can leave. I'm just going to keep walking and wait on them to stop me. Just that simple. That's just the way I do things. Now, you may not do it that same way. I don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. You ain't got to try to be no hero. I would ask that every black man out there, if you have a situation where it's you and that police officer, do not get into a fight with him. Don't try to be Black Lives Matter. Don't try to do what the media tell you that they want you to depict you as. Don't even do any of that stuff. Do whatever it takes to protect your life as an African American male. And I don't care if that doesn't give me views. I don't care if that gives me every thumb down. I don't care if I get hit with a billion trolls, whatever. I don't even care, because I would rather see every single black man make a home to his kid than to see a whole bunch of brothers on the more brothers in the boxes from the police. I'm just saying. That's just me. I mean, now does that mean that every single black man that comes into contact with a police officer is going to have that experience? Absolutely not. Every single black man does not have a negative experience with the police. Being real, you may not ever have that experience. You may never have the experience of police officers pulling you over for the wrong reasons and getting you out of the car and beating you and all that stuff. You may never have that issue, and I hope you never do. Hope you never have that type of come to Jesus moment. Okay, I will hope that I would not wish that on my enemy. I would not wish that on Sam I Am, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody that eats green eggs and ham. Okay, I would not wish that on a box. I wouldn't wish that on a car. I wouldn't wish that in a house. I wouldn't wish that with a mouse. Okay? Just that simple. And I say it just like that because I don't want anyone to ever have to deal with those issues. So, that being said, again, I say every single altercation with the police does not end in that way. And if it did, there would be a lot more brothers in the boxes than would be on screen. Okay, so let's be real in that area. Is there crime in our neighborhoods? There's crime in every neighborhood. So get over it. I'm not even going to sit here and listen to that. As long as there are people, there's going to be crime. As long as there are two people gathered in the area, there's going to be some type of crime coming from some type of people about some type of thing. That's just the way it is. So what? Welcome to America. Welcome to America. That happens. I mean, you would like for people to leave you alone. That's the way I feel about it. That's why I don't usually make these type of videos. That's why I try to stick to anime. That's why I try to stay in my lane. And believe it or not, I'm gonna still try to do that. But I feel so inclined to talk about this right now because like it's just really terrible how we treat our African Americans, brother and sisters. We treat them very badly. We treat each other so terribly. We treat each other like we hate each other, but then say, be with me and unite with me. We hate each other sometimes just for being light skinned or dark skinned. We sit around and Jones a dude just because he don't look the way we want him to look. We rank him and just destroy his credibility just because we don't like what he said. Mob mentality, lynch mob mentality, being the biggest lynch mob we can be. That's what we do. That's what we do to one another. And then you have these brothers on here that are supposed to be so pro black, but they are the ones pushing the narrative on y'all. They're the ones pushing the narrative on y'all. And they say, think like me. Think like me. I'm here to tell you, don't think like them. Don't think like me. Figure it out yourself. Ask questions. Think for yourself. So if I could sum up my whole ideas politically, think for yourself. Know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Do not despise correction. Make sure that you're talking to wise men, and you yourself will become wise. And if you have any inclination in your heart, get with people who know right from wrong, good from evil. Someone that has a moral compass, that has a righteous heart, that's not afraid to judge you. And here's the big part: don't be afraid of someone else's judgment, especially if it's righteous correction. If you wrong, you wrong. If you good, you good. And if they wrong, well then keep on moving. Know the truth. Give them the correction. Let them know that they're wrong. And if that in the comment section, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I ain't right. Give me correction where I'm missing the boat at. Tell me where I don't agree with you. Tell me where I don't agree with you. Show me where I'm falling short. If I'm falling short. But at the same time, if you're not sure if I'm falling short, don't sit around and start telling everybody that you think you know what you're talking about, because obviously you do not know what you're talking about. I'm gonna say this again. Blessed is a man who walks not in the counsel of ungodly people. If you don't have somebody in your life who knows the Lord, don't go around asking. I mean, really, truly know the Lord, and you will know them by the fruits that they bear. If they don't have the fruits of the Spirit in them, if they don't have any love in their heart, if they don't have any correction in their heart, if they are still trying to fix themselves, and they're not even trying to walk right, they're not even trying to talk right, they're not trying to live right, they're not trying to, be holy as Christ is holy, and the world sees it and you see it and you can tell because they still smoking, drinking, popping bottles and going to the club every weekend, ain't trying to do better, just doing the same old stuff, won't pull their pants up, won't change their mind, won't change the way they act. Because here's the thing, whenever you want to know a righteous person when you see them, you want to know a righteous person when you see them, is very simple. They change their ways. That's how you know a person is righteous, is when they have the inclination in their heart to change and wrong things seem wrong to them. If you know that it's wrong and you see him doing wrong and yet you let him do wrong, you're still wrong. You're worse than wrong. You're worse than wrong. You're trash. Because you know I'm doing wrong and you won't say nothing. You won't even try to help me. You just let me fall. This is beyond crab in a barrel. This is just downright scared to change. Scared of the truth. And if you ain't scared, I mean, if you really ain't scared, then think for yourself. Make sure that your ideas is making sense. Make sure it lines up with what you believe in. Stand on what it is you believe in. Just like Dr. Cosby, just like Candace Owens, and just like Kanye West. Because believe it or not, all three people, whether you agree with what they believe in, whether you believe they did what they say they did, whether you say he's guilty or innocent, whether you say she's a coon or a bad wench or whatever thing you want to get, what other name you want to give her, no matter what you say about any of the three, you can always say this: they stood up for what they believed and they were willing to die for it, and one was even willing to go to the lengths of being put in jail for the rest of his life for it. I'm the Big Asuchia, and I love you. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comment section, and I'm hoping to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say on this topic. And I'm out.